Hi guys, welcome back to Anita Crochets. My name is Anita. Today we are making this skirt. It is inspired by Crolage and it's very simple. Oh my god, any adventurous beginner needs to watch this. Although in the picture it may look hard because it has some rib effect and someone may not know how to have that rib effect, like you can look closely the way it is there on the skirt. Also, the skirt gives a thick body, so for the ladies that really love thick material, this is for you because it is two-sided. You can wear it on the ribbed side and you can also wear it on the flat side, so everything is up to you literally. But let's now jump into the tutorial and see what we actually need. So here I have a ball of yarn. It is Robin 100% acrylic and it is size 4 yarn. Guys, this is chunky yarn. Do not work with smaller yarn, okay? Not DK yarn. Work with chunky yarn, size 4, all right? Then I'm also working with a 6mm hook. Okay, now to get started, we are going to make a slip knot. And remember, this skirt is, worn to the lower waist, not the high waist. But anything you choose is clearly up to you. Just work chains that are in position to stretch out. I am putting emphasis on stretching out. To stretch out to meet your hip measurements. If you're making it for someone and you don't have the person there to stretch it out around her hips, get your tape measure. If she has sent you measurements, maybe like her hips are 41, get your tape measure and work chains, then put them onto your tape measure and stretch them out and see that they can meet 41. And I don't mean stretching it out to stress the cord, but stretching it out in a comfortable manner that doesn't give your client the thought of, oh, my skirt is going to tear up, all right? So just work those chains. For me, I am working for a size small. This is an order for someone, and I already know her size. So I literally just worked about 96. I think 96 or around there, 96 or 80 something chains are the ones that I worked. I usually just know my figures for every size, so don't be like me, be accurate please. So once we have that, we are going to work a slip knot into the very first chain stitch that started the row. Okay, so now we are good to go and we are going to start our very first row. To start our very first row, I am going to chain 2, and into this very first stitch, I am going to work 1/2 double crochet, right? And I'm going to work 1/2 double crochet into the next chain stitch, work a 1/2 double crochet in the next, right? Work 1/2 double crochet into the next stitch. So basically, we are going to be working 1/2 double crochet into every stitch all the way around until we come to the end of our row. Okay, so when you work your 1/2 double crochets all the way around, you need to make sure that you have the very same number of stitches as your foundation chains that you worked. Okay, so this time we are not working in multiples of this or multiples of that. It is just any number that you choose that really does fit your hips. Work 1/2 double crochet into every chain stitch and make sure that you have the very same number of stitches as your previous as your foundation chains. Then I'm going to get back and show you what to do on your next row. So here we are. When you come to the end of your row, you are going to hold your work and work a slip stitch into the second chain stitch of the 2 chains that started the row, just like that. Okay, and once we have that, now we are going to chain 2 and we are going to turn our work. Honestly, for this project, I think you can work it without turning your work, but the only thing it's going to give you is a diagonal seam line at the back, and I don't want that. That's why I keep turning my work so that I have a straight seam line. I have tried to explain this before. If you're new, I don't know, but just try it, see the mistake, and then correct it. Okay, so we are going to chain 2, and we shall get into the back of that very first stitch, and then you get through the back to work a back post half double crochet. It's going to be hard for the very first stitch. I'm sorry, yes, it's going to be a little hard for the very first stitch, but you find your way, so you work that back post half double crochet, and this is what you do for the next stitch as well. The back posts are kind of tricky, but you get along. You really do get along later on. Yeah, so we work a back post half double crochet like that. Right there. And then you pull through all 3 loops on your hook like that. So basically you just keep, going through with your back post half double crochet. You can see that rib effect starting to play along, right? Because our intention is to have those lines cross all the way around for every row and make it look like someone worked their stitches and then had to work slip stitches into those stitches to do that rib all the way across. But this is how it happened. So this is what you do. You get into the back of that stitch and work up a back post half double crochet, just like that. If you look closely, I'm so sorry that I am working with pink. Pink usually just doesn't work well even when you are on natural light. It just doesn't give, a very, very good, insightful video because of its color. But yes, you can really see that there is a line like a rib on my row already, right? So this is what we just keep doing all the way around for every stitch, guys. This is where you're going to make errors. So make sure that you count every stitch on every row. If you feel like you don't know how to tell that my stitches are now over, because you may skip the last stitch thinking you shouldn't be working into it, yet it's the last stitch. And as you go on with a couple of rows, you'll find that your work is actually becoming smaller and smaller and smaller because you're skipping a last stitch that you don't recognize as the last stitch. So for you, you will need to count your stitches on every row so that you make sure the stitches you started with are the same stitches that you have, right? So do this all the way around until you come to the end of your row right there, and work a slip stitch into the second chain stitch. So let me meet you guys there, then show you what to do. Now here we are at the end of our row, and I'm going to work a slip stitch into the second chain stitch of the 2 chains that started the row, just like that. Now at this point we are going to start working our next row. So we shall chain 2 and turn our work, right? Now remember, we want the rib effect on one side. You see it right there. We want it on one side. So if we want it on one side, we can't keep working a back post for every row. Now since I want it to be on the other side, which I just turned, I'm now going to be forced to work a front post half double crochet. So I'm just going to get into my next stitch and work a front post half double crochet. So you get in there like that and work your front post half double crochet. Okay, you get in there into the back of that post and work your front post half double crochet. Get into the back of the next half double crochet post and then work a half double crochet so that you have a front post half double crochet. So this is what you just keep doing all the way around, and make sure that you have the very same number of stitches as your foundation chains or the stitches on your previous row. Okay, We're just working front posts, okay? And by the way, this is what you have to do for every row. Now you can see that I have the fold on this row. You see it right there, yeah? So clearly, we want to have the ribs on one side. So if on this row you work a front post, you work front post half double crochets, that means the next row is going to have back post half double crochets, then the next will have front post. So we just keep interchanging so that we just have the rib on one side. So do this all the way around and come to this point and work your slip stitch. That's where I'll meet you and just explain something. Okay, so here we are, and I've come to the end of my row and worked a slip stitch. This is the inside, and now this is the outside where our ribs are. Okay, that's the inside, this is the outside. So now to work the next row, we are going to make sure that these ribs are on this side. So whenever the ribs are facing you, we are working, we're going to change to turn our work. When the ribs are facing you, you have to work back posts. Keep that in mind. When the ribs are facing you, work back post half double crochets. When the ribs are not facing you, then you have to work front post half double crochets. So we are going to get into the back of the next post and work our back post half double crochet. All right, yarn over, work a back post half double crochet. So you get in from the back of the post, yeah, like that and like that and like that, yeah. So that's how you have to do it. But if you're changing colors just like I am, this is just one message I needed to put off because I didn't record that. If you're changing colors just like I am, for the very first row of whichever color you have added, do not work any posts. Just work a row of half double crochet clean. No post, no nothing. Work a row of half double crochet. That's to introduce the next color, because if you continue with the back posts, then you're going to have the posts underneath being pink and the rib, the post underneath are going to be purple, and then the rib, like the rib on top, is going to be pink. If that's okay with you, then go on with it. If it is not okay with you, then you're going to work a row of plain half double crochets, and then now you restart your back posts, front posts. Like I said, when the ribs are facing you, work back post double crochets. When the ribs are not facing you, work front post half double crochets. All right. So with this row, you go with it all the way around, and you just keep repeating that. Just keep what I've said in mind. When the ribs are facing you, back posts. When they're not facing you, front posts. Do that repeatedly until you have the length of the skirt that you desire. I love this stitch because it gave me stretch and gave me thickness. Okay, so I hit two birds with one stone. I liked making this one. All right. So guys, I'm going to meet you at the end just to show you how to add your drawstring onto your skirt, because you also need that. Okay, now let me see you guys then and show you what to do. Oh, here we are, the thickness of this skirt, guys, the thickness. Okay, you can see what I was telling you guys, that when introducing a new color, just work the normal half double crochet row, then go ahead and start that. So at the bottom of my skirt, I worked scalloped. That is really optional. I just needed a design at the end of my skirt, but that's very optional. You can work a row of single crochet, that's very okay. You can work shell stitches, that's also very okay. That's clearly up to you. So to add your drawstring, I usually get this question, and I be skipping these things because I feel like they're very simple to know. Like, not knowing how to add your drawstring to a project, I'll be thinking, okay, how does she work her projects? And she doesn't know the basics. So just here to just show you that maybe it answers someone's questions. Also, keep your seam line at the center of the back, like mine is. So yes, you get your drawstring that's making a slip knot and working several chains. I usually work 150 to 200 given the size I'm working for. So yeah, when you have that, cut your yarn and then put your yarn end into the eyelet of your yarn needle and just go with it, like, back and forth, skipping 2 stitches, like that, skipping 2 stitches and pulling it through. So you do this all the way around the waistline of your skirt so that you have closure. The fact that this is going to be worn to our lower waist, we need closure. We don't want it falling. Remember, it can pass through our hips, so we don't want it falling. Also, the fact that it is kind of heavy material, it is easier to be dragged down if we don't have a drawstring, sorry. So you do this, and I intend to have my drawstrings tied to the back so that the front does not give any, it gives an illusion of the skirt is really perfectly fitted, just like it did in the picture of Crolage, right? And also you can probably tuck in your drawstrings at the back, like you tuck them in so they don't show anywhere, and it just gives the illusion of the skirt perfectly fits, right? So this is how you work your rib striped skirt. And I hope you learned something, guys. Thank you so much for watching. This was very simple. It was just like one of those projects you work on a lazy day and you're like, let me just share something very, very simple. So this was it. Thank you so much, Crolage, for this inspo, and thank you guys for watching. Let me see you all in my next tutorial. Goodbye.